You work hard, you make good money, yet you feel like you're constantly behind financially. You see others building wealth while your bank account stays flat. Maybe you've tried budgeting before, but it felt restrictive, like a punishment. Or maybe lifestyle inflation is silently stealing your progress. Every raise just seems to disappear into more expenses. Here's what the financially free know that you don't. There's a simple rule they use that isn't about deprivation but optimization. It's called the 70-20-10 rule. And in 6 months, it can put you ahead of 90% of people. Most people think their spending problem is obvious. The big purchases, the impulse buys. But the real wealth killer is invisible, and it's happening to you right now. You got a raise last year, maybe even a promotion. Your income went up, but somehow your bank account looks exactly the same. You feel like you should be ahead, yet you're still living paycheck to paycheck. This isn't a willpower problem or a discipline issue. You've fallen victim to lifestyle inflation, the silent destroyer that turns every financial win into a hidden loss. Lifestyle inflation creeps in so gradually that even the most disciplined earners miss it completely. You start making more money, so you deserve that nicer apartment with the in-unit laundry. The premium Netflix subscription makes sense because you watch so much content. Those meal delivery services save time, and time is money, right? Each decision feels rational in isolation, but together they create a spending trap that grows faster than your income. Here's the part that will shock you. A $10,000 raise can actually make you poorer. When your income jumps, your brain immediately starts calculating what new lifestyle you can afford. But you're calculating based on gross income, not net. That 10,000 becomes maybe 6,000 after taxes. Meanwhile, your brain has already committed to 12,000 in new annual expenses. You're now 2,000 deeper in the hole, despite earning more money than ever before. The psychology behind this trap runs deeper than simple math. Every raise triggers what I call the reward justification cycle. You worked hard for this promotion, as you deserve to celebrate. You upgrade your car because successful people drive reliable vehicles. You move to a better neighborhood because your professional image matters. Each upgrade feels like an investment in your future success, but they're actually investments in your future financial stress. Research shows that professionals lose thousands annually to emotional spending disguised as essential purchases. The difference between what you need and what you want becomes blurred when your income rises. That premium coffee subscription isn't just caffeine, it's productivity fuel. The expensive gym membership isn't just exercise, it's networking. The designer clothes aren't vanity, they're career advancement tools. Every emotional purchase gets reframed as an essential business expense. Think of your spending categories as crime scene evidence. Housing, food, transportation, entertainment, and subscriptions. These 5 areas contain the clues to where your money disappears. Your rent might have jumped from $1,800 to $2,800 when you moved to that better location. Your food budget exploded from $300 to $600 monthly when you started ordering premium groceries and restaurant meals. Your transportation costs doubled when you financed that newer car. Each category grew independently, but together they consumed your entire raise and then some. Most people cannot name their top 5 expenses with any accuracy. Ask them what they spend monthly on housing, and they'll give you their rent payment, but forget utilities, insurance, and maintenance. Ask about food costs, and they'll estimate groceries, but ignore the coffee runs, lunch meetings, and weekend dining. This financial blindness explains why bank accounts stay flat, despite promotions, bonuses, and career advancement. The comfort-convenience comparison trap turns every raise into an excuse for lifestyle upgrades. You see colleagues driving better cars as you finance a nicer vehicle. You notice friends taking expensive vacations. So you book premium trips. You compare your apartment to social media posts. So you upgrade your living situation. Each comparison creates pressure to spend more, not save more. Your raise becomes permission to live like people who might be drowning in debt themselves. The financially free have cracked a different code entirely. They focus on spending optimization, not spending elimination. They understand the crucial difference between essential and emotional purchases. Essential spending covers needs that don't scale with income, basic housing, transportation, and food. Emotional spending scales infinitely with income. There's always a more expensive version of everything you want. This awareness becomes the foundation for building actual wealth instead of just managing money. Once you recognize lifestyle inflation as the enemy, you can design systems that capture your raises before your lifestyle does, turning income growth into wealth growth instead of expense growth. While you've been told to cut everything and live like a monk, the wealthy are using a completely different approach that lets them enjoy life while building massive wealth. The financial advice industry has convinced you that wealth building requires sacrifice, deprivation, and saying no to everything you want. Meanwhile, people with real money follow a simple framework that actually encourages enjoyment while systematically building wealth. They call it the 70-20-10 rule, and it separates those who build wealth from those who just manage money regardless of income level. Here's how this system destroys the myth that wealth building requires sacrifice. You allocate 70% of your income to monthly spending, 20% to a growth fund for savings and investments, and 10% to a joy fund for guilt-free spending. The 20% growth fund creates compound wealth through emergency savings and long-term investing, while the 10% joy fund prevents the financial burnout that destroys most budgets. This isn't about restriction. It's about intelligent allocation that puts your money to work while you enjoy life. The growth fund strategy operates on two fronts that wealthy people understand instinctively. First, you build an emergency fund covering 3 to 6 months of essential expenses like rent, groceries, and insurance. This fund prevents debt disasters by eliminating the need for high-interest loans during unexpected events. Second, you invest consistently in long-term vehicles that harness compound interest over decades. The emergency fund protects your wealth, while the investments multiply it through time and market growth. The math behind consistent investing will shock you. Investing just $200 monthly from age 25 with a 10% annual return yields approximately $1 million by age 65. This proves that time in market beats timing the market every single time. You don't need to become a trading expert or chase the latest investment trends. You just need to start early and stay consistent, letting compound interest do the heavy lifting while you focus on earning and living. The investment strategy that wealthy people actually use is embarrassingly simple. They invest in low-cost index funds like SPY and SPLG that track the S&P 500, not complex strategies or meme stocks that promise quick returns. These funds offer automatic diversification across hundreds of companies with expense ratios below 1%. You're not trying to beat the market. You're trying to match it consistently over decades. The wealthy understand that boring investments create exciting bank account balances. The Joy Fund concept represents the psychological breakthrough that makes this entire system sustainable. Traditional budgets fail because they create a restriction rebellion cycle where people eventually snap and overspend. The Joy Fund gives you permission to spend money on things you enjoy without guilt or justification. Whether it's travel, hobbies, expensive coffee, or entertainment, this fund prevents the feeling of deprivation that sabotages long-term financial success. Let me show you exactly how this works with real numbers. Take a $5,000 monthly income and apply the 70-20-10 breakdown. You spend $3,500 on essential monthly expenses like housing, utilities, grocery, transportation, and basic necessities. You allocate $1,000 to your growth fund, split between emergency savings and retirement investing. You reserve $500 for your joy fund to spend on whatever brings you happiness. This framework scales perfectly whether you make $3,000 or $15,000 monthly. The system creates wealth through automation and habits, not willpower or constant decision-making. You set up automatic transfers to your growth fund accounts, treating investing like a monthly bill that gets paid before you see the money. You automate contributions to high-yield savings accounts for your emergency fund and retirement accounts like Roth IRAs for long-term investing. The money moves without your involvement, removing emotion and inconsistency from the wealth-building process. This approach makes financial freedom inevitable rather than accidental. You're not hoping to save whatever remains at the end of each month or trying to time perfect investment opportunities. You're systematically capturing a percentage of every dollar you earn and putting it to work through proven wealth building vehicles. The wealthy don't rely on windfalls or perfect market timing. They rely on consistent systems that compound over time, creating financial momentum that eventually becomes unstoppable. Here's the truth that changes everything. Wealth is built through systems and habits, not hustle. And the 70-20-10 rule puts your money to work while you enjoy life. You don't need to sacrifice your present for your future or work yourself into exhaustion chasing financial freedom. Start with these 5 steps today. Track your current spending for 1 week. Calculate your 70-20-10 breakdown based on your monthly income. Open a high-yield savings account for your emergency fund. Set up automatic contributions to a retirement account. Assign a specific dollar amount to your joy fund and spend it guilt-free. Commit to 30-minute monthly progress checks that create financial mindfulness and confidence. 6 months of this system puts you ahead of 90% of people financially, transforming you from someone who manages money to someone who builds wealth.